Imagine taking a standard commercial delivery van and like trying to park it completely flat against your living room wall. Today's deep dive is looking at the logistics, the engineering, and really the sheer audacity of doing exactly that in your home. We're examining the Draper profile plus fixed frame screen, and well, we are talking about a 230-inch diagonal footprint here.
Yeah, it's honestly a wild concept to wrap your head around. To give you the exact dimensions, that's 90 inches tall and over 211 inches wide.
Which is just massive.
Right. But what's fascinating here is that the real story isn't just the sheer square footage, it's the aspect ratio, because this is a native 2.35.1 Cinemascope screen.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. I mean, it makes sense for this audience. We all know standard 16.9 displays leave you with those annoying black bars on major theatrical releases.
Exactly, the letterboxing.
Yeah, but pushing a screen to 230 inches in that specific 2.35.1 ratio, that actually changes the psychology of watching a film. You're filling the viewer's entire natural peripheral vision.
You are. You aren't just looking at a picture anymore, you know? Your brain feels like it's inside the environment. Directors shoot in Cinemascope specifically to trigger that panoramic immersive response.
Right.
But trying to get a 211-inch wide, rigid surface into a building that introduces a massive logistical nightmare, I mean, you can't fit that through a standard front door.
Let alone, like, navigate a staircase or an elevator to a dedicated theater room. Which brings us to the engineering workaround. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Because you aren't actually buying a finished screen. You're basically buying a highly engineered, massive DIY project, right?
Yeah.
The frame and the viewing surface ship completely broken down.
Yeah, and getting a piece of canvas that large to lay perfectly flat is a serious physics problem. So Draper uses this sliding hook and loop system.
Wait, hook and loop like Velcro?
Well, sort of, but it's not just slapping standard Velcro on a metal frame. It's designed to distribute the tension perfectly across the entire perimeter of the screen.
Oh, I see. So you're pulling that fabric drum tight so there isn't a single warp or wave or even a shadow to distort the projection.
Exactly. And they wrap that tensioning system around what they call a mullionless frame.
Okay, for anyone not living and breathing architectural terms every day, a mullion is that thick structural bar or bezel you usually see dividing windows or monitors.
Right, right. So by going mullionless or zero edge, the viewing surface wraps cleanly right over the sides.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you were setting up, say, a massive corporate simulation or just an extreme home theater, you could actually place two of these screens side by side, and the image would look optically seamless.
That is insane. So we have this perfectly tensioned, bezel-free behemoth, but the surface itself is a gray XH600V with a zero point 0.6 gain. And a lot of standard out-of-the-box projection screens are basically white mirrors, right? They just try to bounce as much projector light back at you as possible.
And that's actually a massive problem in a high-end setup.
Wait, really? What?
Because a white screen bounces light everywhere. It lights up the whole room, which then reflects back onto the screen and completely washes out the image.
Ah, okay, so a 0.6 gain gray screen acts more like a sponge.
Precisely. It intentionally absorbs a lot of that ambient and scattered light.
So you're sacrificing some of that peak brightness to get incredibly deep, inky blacks. It basically keeps the image from looking washed out, giving you that rich cinematic depth.
Yeah, exactly. You do need a powerful projector to drive it, but the contrast you get is unmatched. But achieving that specific optical performance on a perfectly flat, zero-edge, 230-inch surface, that is where the cost comes in.
Right. So what does this all mean for the budget? It's currently sitting at a sale price of just over $7,000.
Which is marked down from an MSRP of almost $800.
Yeah, that is a serious premium for an unassembled canvas and a metal frame, especially when, massive, ultra-bright LED flat screens are plummeting in price every single year. Is it really worth it?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is a huge premium, yes. But true cinema purists are paying for the complete absence of digital glare.
Because an LED panel emits harsh, direct light.
Exactly. A 0.6 gain projection surface reflects a softened, natural image that digital displays simply can't replicate. It's basically the difference between staring directly into a giant light bulb versus looking through a window.
Wow, that is a great analogy. It really is a totally different market, which is actually captured perfectly by this 3-star review on the product page.
Oh, yeah, from John.
Yeah, from a guy named John M. He complained that the customer service staff was, quote, less than friendly, but answered my question.
Which is just so typical.
It perfectly sums up the ultra-high-end AV world, right? You aren't paying $7,000 for small talk. You're paying for exact technical specs, a 5-year warranty, and absolutely zero optical distortion.
It's a hardcore commitment. You're taking on the installation logistics, the lighting control, the steep investment, all just to recreate the director's exact vision in your own house.
It begs a really interesting question for you listening. If you were designing your ultimate entertainment room tomorrow, do you take the convenient route?
Right. Do you just mount a massive, impossibly bright plug-and-play LED screen?
Or do you put in the physical labor and the investment for an uncompromising 230-inch dedicated projection surface? What actually makes a movie feel cinematic to you? Something to chew on next time the lights go down.